Hi, my name is Hubert Johnson, and I want to talk to you about getting current with your tax filings. Biggest question out there is how many tax returns do I actually have to file? Depends on who you're talking to. So if it's the IRS, it's 6 years. If it's the states, they can go back to much older years. The best thing to do is have a professional talk directly to the state, try to minimize what kind of how many tax returns they're asking you for, but it really varies by the state and depends on your case. So we're going to focus on the IRS today. Um, I said you only have to go back 6 years, but be aware, be very wary. There's a lot of bad information out there. CPAs, tax preparers, even the IRS will give you bad information until the typical answer is 10 years. That is not right. Um, the IRM citation, you can tell this to anybody at the IRS. They'll have to look it up, and it's 6 years. It's IRM 5.1.11.3.3.1. Yes, that's a mouthful, but it very clearly says there that it's only 6 years. So in practice, what does that mean? It means the IRS currently can only go back to 2017. So they're looking at 2017 through 2022 right now. Come January 1st, though, 17 drops off, and they can only ask for 2018 through 2023. And if it's before April 15th or before October 15th, if you file an extension, they can't even ask for 2023 until that deadline, you pass that deadline. So key thing is just get good information. True story, taxpayer came in, filed 23 years of tax returns. He was all excited that he'd gotten current with the IRS. Problem is they could have only gone back 6 years on him, and all those extra years just created a huge balance that he would have never owed if he would have talked to someone and gotten some good advice first before making that huge filing. Another question is, do I even have a filing requirement? If you don't have enough taxable income, you might not even have to file. So if you have less income than the standard deduction in a given year, you don't have to file. So for example, John is a student, and in 22, he went to college. He earned $12,000 roughly working part-time. The standard deduction is $12,950. So if he filed his return, the IRS they would just kick it back to him and say, well, you don't owe anything. Thank you for filing, but you didn't have to. But be very wary because, again, word of caution, if you have Social Security income, you have to file your taxes. If you have, if you're getting alimony, that's taxable income. You have to be very wary what is taxable income and what isn't. Veterans disability isn't taxable. So there are types of income that isn't taxable that you don't have to worry about, but make sure you talk to a tax professional and make sure you're filing if you need to. If you don't file, the IRS can come and file for you, and they always do it in the worst way possible for you. Something to be aware of, another warning here. You might not have a filing requirement, and it still might be a good idea to file because they're good at getting things wrong at the IRS and states. Big example, a couple big examples, gambling. Investments, if you're trading in Bitcoin or a day trader, and if business income. The IRS is going to get all that information on the gambling winnings, on Bitcoin trades, or just day trading trades, and they're going to look at all the gains. Every time you sold for a profit or you won, and they're going to assume that is all income. They're not going to look at, well, every time you went to the casino, you might have won, but you probably lost 2 or 3 times every time you won. They're not going to look at that. They don't know about your business expenses. So if you have business losses, if you're gambling, if you're doing investments, make sure you get all of your losses. If you're gambling, you can use a card and the casino will track it for you. Just use the same card every time you go. And there are some casinos that they've grouped together and they use one card so you can go to multiple casinos and use that same card. That will track your losses for you, and you just get a printout, submit that with your tax returns to the IRS. And that way you're not going to have them coming back 2 to 3 years later and saying, hey, you won 130,000 in gambling when you actually lost 10,000. Most important thing, if you have questions, if you have concerns, do I need to file? Don't be like the gentleman that filed 23 years of tax returns. A good tax professional will give you good advice and help steer you in the right direction without charging you an arm and a leg. We do free consultations here at Guardian Tax Law. So if you have those questions, call us first, get that peace of mind, and make sure that you're on the right track. Again, Hubert Johnson with Guardian Tax Law.